All right, let's dive into a business philosophy that really turns conventional wisdom on its head. We're going to look at a tale of two iconic retailers. They made completely opposite bets on their people, and the results, well, they couldn't be more different.
So this is the classic thinking, right? Especially in retail. The dominant belief is that to win, you have to slash your costs. And what's the biggest, most obvious cost? It's always your people. It seems so logical, almost like a law of physics for business. But is it actually true?
So let's start by digging into this traditional approach. It's a strategy that, looks brilliant on a spreadsheet. It's been the go-to playbook for tons of companies trying to survive in a tough market.
The philosophy is pretty straightforward. Employees are a line item on the balance sheet, a cost that you have to manage down. The less you spend on payroll, the lower your prices can be, and boom, the healthier your bottom line. It's a simple, powerful equation. And a company that went all in on this model was Circuit City. They were a household name, a total titan of electronics. But as competition from places like Best Buy and, of course, Amazon started heating up, they decided their path to victory was through ruthless efficiency.
But here's the question. What happens when you follow that cost-cutting playbook all the way to its logical conclusion? Let's look at the real-world results, because the numbers that look so good in the boardroom had a very different impact on the actual sales floor.
They made what they believed were smart, surgical cuts. Firing the experienced salespeople? That saved a bunch on commissions, but it also completely erased product knowledge from the store. And replacing them with low-wage workers with almost no training? Well, that left customers with more questions than answers. Even reducing store hours just made it harder for people to actually shop. Every single saving was a direct hit to the customer experience.
So yeah, they successfully lowered their payroll costs, but the customer experience just completely collapsed. Shoppers who needed advice found untrained staff, people stopped coming in because the one big advantage a physical store had over the internet, real human expertise, was just gone.
And so, the devastating punchline is that their strategy of cutting costs ultimately cost them absolutely everything. The very efficiency they were chasing led them straight to irrelevance and, in the end, extinction.
This whole cautionary tale brings up a fascinating question, one that flips that entire conventional wisdom on its head. It makes the case for investing in your people, not seeing them as a cost to be cut.
And that brings us to a company that operates in the exact same low-margin retail world, but took the polar opposite path, Costco. Instead of treating labor as a cost to be minimized, Costco treats its employees like their most important investment. Look at this. They're paying industry-leading wages, offering incredible benefits that are almost unheard of in retail. To an old-school analyst, this looks like a recipe for financial disaster.
Okay, this all sounds really nice, but it also sounds incredibly expensive. So does this investment actually pay off? Well, this is where the story gets really, really good. The numbers don't just tell a story, they deliver the punchline.
First, let's talk employee turnover. At Costco, it's less than 10% a year. Let that sink in for a second. In an industry where people often leave after just a few months, people get jobs at Costco and they stay for years, sometimes for their entire careers. Now, compare that to the industry average, a staggering 75%. Just think about all the money other retailers are burning, constantly recruiting, hiring, and training new people, only to watch them walk out the door. Costco avoids all that chaos. That's real money that goes straight to their bottom line.
And what happens when you have happy, experienced employees? You get incredibly happy customers. Costco's membership renewal rate is consistently above 90%. That fierce customer loyalty is the absolute bedrock of their entire business model.
And this right here is the killer stat. Those higher wages didn't hurt profitability, they fueled it. Costco's engaged, long-term employees are so productive that their sales per employee are almost 50% higher than their direct competitors. That's not a cost, that's a massive competitive advantage. So what we're left with is a really clear choice, a strategic choice between two fundamentally different ways of thinking about the relationship between a company, its people, and its customers. When you lay it out side by side like this, the contrast is just stark. The cost model creates this vicious cycle of high turnover and bad service that leads to failure. But the investment model? It creates a virtuous cycle of low turnover and fierce loyalty that leads to sustainable success.
Ultimately, the data from these two stories suggests that how you treat your people isn't just some small part of your business strategy. It determines whether your story ends as a cautionary tale or as a legendary success.